Asha sat on the floor of her small mud house. Her bare feet touched the cold ground, and her hands shook as she held her mother's wrapper tightly. Tears rolled down her cheeks like rivers, and her heart felt like it was breaking into pieces. Her mother stood over her eyes, full of something Asha had never seen before, fear and shame. "Asha," her mother whispered, her voice dry like cracked soil. "Forgive us. We had no choice. We sold you." Those words cut through Asha like a sharp knife. She stopped breathing for a moment. Her lips trembled as she asked, "Sold me? What do you mean?" "Mama, I am your daughter." Her father walked in. His eyes were red, and his face looked older than yesterday. He didn't look at Asha directly. Instead, he stared at the wall and said, "It is done. You will marry a rich man. He paid a good price for you." Asha felt like the earth had opened and swallowed her dreams. Marriage. She had dreamt of finishing school. She wanted to open a small tailoring shop in the market. She wanted a life filled with hope and laughter, not fear and chains. Her parents had always told her they loved her. How could love feel like betrayal? "Baba, please." She cried, crawling on her knees towards him. "Don't do this to me. I am only 19. I want to finish school. Please, Baba, don't send me away." Her father turned his back. Her mother sobbed softly, but said nothing more. Outside, a car engine roared like a hungry lion waiting for its prey. Minutes later, strangers entered the house. Two tall men in black suits stood at the door. Behind them came another man. He wore a white flowing robe with golden embroidery. Heavy gold chains hung around his neck. Shoes shone like mirrors. His eyes were cold, sharp like a knife, and his lips curled into a proud smile. "So this is the girl," he said in a deep voice, looking at Asha like she was an object, not a human being. Asha's heart stopped. This was her husband. This man was old enough to be her father. His presence filled the small room like a shadow that swallowed all light. The man walked slowly towards her, his expensive perfume choking the air. He bent down, lifted her chin with one finger, and said, "You are mine now, forever." Asha flinched, her tears falling like rain. She looked at her parents, begging silently with her eyes. But her mother only looked away, and her father stood, stiff, his arms crossed as if he had no daughter at all. "Take her," the man said to the guards. "No. No, please," Asha screamed, her voice breaking into the night. She tried to run, but the men were strong. They grabbed her arms and dragged her out of the house. Her nails scratched the ground. Her wrapper loosened and dirt clung to her skin. She kicked and cried, but her screams were swallowed by the roaring engine of the black SUV waiting outside. Her father followed them out and said in a low voice, "Asha, obey your husband. Do not bring shame to this family." The car door slammed shut. Asha pressed her face against the glass as the car moved. She saw her home for the last time, the old mango tree where she used to sit, the dusty road she had walked every day. Everything faded behind her as the car sped away. She closed her eyes, her body shaking, her heart screaming, "God, why me?" Ending. Hook. As the city lights appeared in the distance, Asha's tears fell like rain. Deep in her soul, she knew this was not the beginning of a new life, was the beginning of her suffering. The black SUV stopped in front of a huge iron gate. The gate opened slowly, and the car drove into a big mansion that looked like a palace. Bright lights shone everywhere. Expensive cars were parked like kings in the yard. The walls were high and covered with security cameras. It was beautiful, but to Asha, it felt like a cage. When the guards opened the door, Asha stepped out, her legs shaking. The night air was cold, but sweat ran down her back. Her eyes moved around quickly, searching for hope, searching for a way to run, but the gate closed behind her with a loud clang. Freedom was gone. The man Hassan walked ahead, his golden robe shining under the lights. He didn't look back. He didn't care if she followed or not. The guards pushed her forward until she entered the mansion. Inside, the floor was white and shiny like glass. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling, sparkling like stars. Expensive chairs, big mirrors, and golden tables filled the rooms. Everything looked rich, but to Asha, it felt cold and empty, like the heart of the man who bought her. "Take her to her room," Hassan said without looking at her. The guards led her upstairs to a big bedroom. The bed was soft, the curtains were red silk, and there was a dressing table full of perfumes and jewelry. Asha stood in the middle of the room, tears burning her eyes. It looked like a princess room, but she felt like a prisoner. She sat on the bed and held her knees. Her chest hurt from crying silently. Hours passed before Hassan came in. Ski leaned on the door, smiling in a way that made her skin crawl. "Welcome to your new life, Asha," he said slowly. "You should be happy. Many girls dream of this." I don't want this life," Asha whispered, her voice shaking. "Please, let me go home." Hassan's smile disappeared. His eyes turned dark like a storm. He walked to her and grabbed her chin. "Home? Forget that place. You belong to me now. And if you ever talk about leaving again, I will make you regret it." His voice was low, but each word felt like fire. On her skin, he left the room, slamming the door so hard the mirror shook. Asha sat frozen, her breath coming in short gasps. That night, she didn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, listening to the sound of her own heartbeats. She prayed softly, "God, save me." Days turned into weeks. At first, they treated her like a queen. She wore fancy clothes and ate expensive food, but she could not go outside. She had no phone, no friends. Guards followed her everywhere. The big house became her golden cage. Then things got worse. One night, Hassan came home angry. Something had gone wrong with his business. He shouted at his workers, broke a glass on the floor, and when Asha tried to calm him, he slapped her hard across the face. The pain burned like fire. She fell to the ground, her cheek red and swollen. From that day, everything changed. Hassan stopped pretending to be kind. Kay gave her strict rules. She could not speak unless he asked her a question. She could not open a window without permission. And when she refused him one night, he locked her in a dark room for 2 days. Without food, Asha sat on the cold floor of the room, her stomach empty, her eyes swollen from crying. She whispered to herself, "I will survive this. I will not die here." Ending hook. When the door finally opened, Asha thought it was freedom. But the man standing there was not her savior, was Hassan, smiling like a devil. Asha sat by the window in her golden prison, staring at the high walls outside. The sky was blue, but it felt like a lie. Inside her, everything was dark. She touched her belly slowly. She was pregnant. The thought made her heart beat faster. Not with joy, but with fear. What kind of life would her child have with a man like Hassan? That night, Hassan came into the room. His face was hard and his eyes burned like fire. "Pack your things," he ordered. "We are leaving for Dubai tomorrow. I will not let you embarrass me again. Out there, you will learn how to obey." Asha froze. Her throat went dry. Leave the country. If that happened, she knew she would. Never see her family or freedom again. She whispered softly, "Please, don't take me away." Her voice shook like a dry leaf. Hassan laughed coldly. "You have no choice, Asha. You are mine. Until death." When he left, she broke down. Tears ran down her cheeks like rain. Then, slowly, she wiped her face. A fire of survival lit inside her heart. "I will not die in this house. I will run. For me, for my baby." The next morning, she saw her chance. Hassan was busy in his office, shouting on the phone. The guards were relaxed because there was a big party that night and many guests were coming. For the first time, Asha's door was unlocked. Asha walked slowly to the kitchen, pretending to be calm. One of the housemaids, Fatima, was washing dishes. Fatima had always been kind to her, sometimes slipping extra food to her when Hassan punished her. Fatima, Asha whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Please, help me. He wants to take me away. If I leave this country, I am finished. Fatima looked around to make sure no one was listening. Her hands shook as she wiped them on her apron. You will be killed if they catch you, she whispered back. But she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small phone. Take this. Call someone you trust and pray. Asha's hands trembled as she took the phone. She rushed to the bathroom, locked the door, and dialed the only number she remembered, Musa. He was her childhood friend, now working as a security guard in the city. Musa, it's me, Asha, she whispered, her voice breaking. Please help me. I'm in Hassan's mansion. He bought me. He's taking me out of the country. There was silence for a moment. Then Musa spoke in a firm voice. Asha, listen to me. Stay calm. I'm coming for you. Tell me everything. She gave him the location in quick whispers before hiding the phone under a towel. That night, the mansion was loud with music and laughter. Guests filled the big hall. Guards were busy watching the party. Asha wore a long shawl to hide her baby. Bump. Her heart pounded like a drum as she moved quietly towards the back gate. Every step felt like walking on fire. She saw the gate. Freedom was so close she could taste it. Her hands shook as she reached for the handle. Then headlights flashed. A black SUV blocked the gate. Shah's blood turned cold. The door opened and Hassan stepped out. Shah's face was a mask of rage. In his hand he held a gun. So, my little bird wants to fly away. His voice was calm. Too calm, and that scared her more than the gun. He walked closer, his footsteps slow and heavy. If I can't have you, no one will. Asha's knees weakened. Her breath stopped. The gun was now pointing at her chest, ending hook. Asha closed her eyes as a gunshot echoed in the night. The sound of the gunshot echoed in the cold night. Asha froze. Her eyes were shut tight, waiting for pain, waiting for death. But it didn't come. Slowly, she opened her eyes. Hassan was still standing, but his gun was on the ground. A man had knocked it away. It was Musa. Musa, Asha whispered, her voice full of shock and hope. He stood like a shield in front of her, breathing hard, his eyes burning with anger. Step away from her, Hassan, Musa shouted. His voice was like thunder. Hassan laughed, a cruel laugh that sent shivers down Asha's spine. So this is your hero, a common security guard. He reached for the gun again, but Musa kicked it far across the ground. The two men fought like lions. Punches landed hard, grunts filled the air, and Asha's heart pounded so loud she thought it would break her ribs. She wanted to scream, to run, but her legs felt like stones. Then red and blue lights flashed in the distance. Sirens wailed, growing louder and louder. Hassan's guards rushed to the gate, but it was too late. Police cars blocked the entrance and officers jumped out, guns ready. Hassan Musa Bello, you are under arrest for human trafficking and kidnapping. An officer shouted. Hassan's face turned pale for the first time. He tried to run, but the officers caught him and forced him to the ground. His golden robe dragged in the dirt as they put handcuffs on his wrists. Screamed like a wild animal. But no one listened. Asha collapsed on her knees, shaking, tears pouring down her face. Musa rushed to her and held her gently. You're safe now, Asha. It's over, he whispered. But Asha could only cry. Cry for the months of pain. Cry for the little girl who once dreamed of a bright future. Cry for the baby inside her who almost never saw life. The police took her to safety that night. She gave her statement, and Fatima also testified against Hassan. The cruel billionaire was thrown into prison where his power could not save him. Months later, the sun was shining over Asha's village. Children ran barefoot on the dusty road, laughing. Women pounded yam under the big mango tree. And in the corner of the market, a small shop stood with a bright sign, Asha's Touch, Tailoring and Fashion. Inside, Asha sat behind a sewing machine, wearing a simple dress and a wide smile. Her belly was gone. In her arms, she held a baby boy, sleeping peacefully. She kissed his forehead and whispered, "You are my miracle, my little warrior." Musa walked in carrying a bag of fabrics, smiled at her, his eyes warm with pride. "Your shop is full today," he said. "Everyone wants Asha's designs." Asha laughed softly, tears of joy shining in her eyes. "I thought my life was over," she said, "but God had another plan." She looked around the shop. It was small, but it was hers. Freedom had a price, but she paid it with courage. And now she was not just alive, she was living. They sold her to a cruel billionaire, but they could not break her spirit. Asha rose from the darkness, stronger than ever, carrying her pain like a crown and turning her tears into power.